World Series, but I don't think Ryung's going to be caught out the same way twice. The countdown has now begun, and we are going into the second game on Shakuras Plateau, with Sase leading one game in this best-of-3 series.
And what a great tournament this would be for Sase to actually win overall. He hasn't actually won a big offline event yet, and this could be an amazing debut.
Yes, it very well could. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the Shakuras Plateau, and it's my pleasure to bring you Slayer's Ryung. He is in the blue trunks playing Terran to the northwest versus his opponent is currently one game up and one game away from going through to the winner bracket final against Stefano. It is Quantic Gaming Sase. He is in the pink trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northeast.
And as you can already see in Sase's mineral line, a little tip here is that you can see that the mineral fields closest to the Nexus are being double mined already by these probes, just to get a little bit of an advantage, because in this, well, at this level of StarCraft 2, every single mineral makes a difference, because these players are playing at the highest level of StarCraft 2 that especially we've seen in the UK and at Insomnia before.
Yeah, we've not seen anything of this caliber. Honestly, even the earlier rounds of the tournament, much better than what we've seen, and it's exciting for the UK to get something of this caliber. It's even exciting for a UK player to still be in the tournament, and Bling even going further than Demuslim, which I think a lot of people were not expecting, and I'm looking forward to watching his game later on. However, what we're concentrating on right now is whether or not Sase can go for a straight 2-0 kill against Slayer's Ryung and take down both of the Koreans. And what do you expect? Do you expect another aggressive play here from Sase, or is he going to go play for a little bit of more of a long, drawn-out macro game on this map?
He'll probably want to go for a drawn-out game, but they are close by air, so we may see some Warp Prism play. Sase very well known for doing that against Terran and Zerg, actually. And he's going to go ahead and scout inside now and see no gas once again. So we're basically having the same build. On this map, the no gas expansion is a lot better than on Terminus, simply because it's a lot easier to defend.
Yep.
The narrow choke point on the natural makes a humongous difference. And I expect Sase to just play macro. I don't think he's going to try and be aggressive. He may do it. You can go for a 4-gate Warp Prism and just throw everything inside the main base and then really catch your opponent off guard once again.
Yes, you can, and we'll see if he decides to do that. And there's no real indication of that at the moment. Just it's simply 2 in the gas. That's a deliberate decision. Sase doesn't make those kind of mistakes, so he's deliberately not mining as much gas as he could do here.
And that basically tells us that yes, he is going to go ahead and expand very shortly. You don't need all that much gas to go ahead and build the research the warp gate, and also to go ahead and get a stalker. You only need about 100, and now he's into the gases. He's gone back into 3 now, just boosting his economy a little bit. And there is the plan of that Nexus now, and Ryung scouts it as well. And the plan has actually come down before a Zealot, before a Stalker, before anything. So just keeping up with his economy to kind of keep in line with Ryung's.
Yeah, and he's seen exactly what Ryung's got. He knows that Ryung has no intention of early aggression, has no means by which to apply it. He's only got a single barracks and no gas, of course, no upgrades, nothing along those lines, and no chance of getting a bunker in play. So it wasn't an option anyway, and it's a safe bet in order to do that. And of course, once again, it gets the Nexus down just a little bit earlier.
And he is throwing down the second gas as well, just to be safe. Wants to build up that sentry count as well, because it's not 100% guaranteed that this is an expansion play. He did scout that there was no gas, but Korean players are very unique with their plays. They may go for a second, third barracks before command center and then bring SCVs, and that would be horrible if you didn't have the sentry count to actually hold it off. But Sase is going to poke up here, probably want to get the confirmation that there is an expansion, and he isn't actually, so he's just going to turn around. But that is okay. We have a gateway coming down for Sase as well, and you probably want to go ahead and throw down the robotics facility next. He hasn't built that third gateway, as we can see.
Yeah, 2-gate robo, obviously it's fine assuming that you don't end up getting hit very hard very quickly, which is not really happening right now. There are only 2 barracks up for Ryung, and both of these players just seem to be extremely cautious there. 3rd barracks now with the tech lab being added on, but still no real means of striking at the moment for Ryung. And I see obvious mutual respect between both of these players, playing extremely cautiously. They don't want to make a mistake.
And we do see the robotics facility coming down now for Sase. And I'm interested to follow his gas on the 3rd and 4th. Does he want to go straight into Colossus? It's a very viable strategy here. 2 or 3 Colossus rush. And meanwhile, Sase is microing his Stalkers quite well against these single Marines. We're definitely going to be seeing an Observer come out. An Observer will give him all the information he needs to continue with his choices as the game does develop. And he may even decide to go for Warp Prism. That is not unheard of either, especially since you don't really have Stim early on. So when it looks like I think that's what's going to be coming out here, we're going to have maybe 3 sentries and a Zealot inside the Warp Prism and will try to harass the mineral line. We'll have to see, and I think that's what's going to happen. Let's have a look down at the robotics facility, and there is the Warp Prism. 3 sentries and Zealot harassment into that mineral line, and Sase, let's see how well this is going to go down.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense considering that he has only been on 2 gas this entire time, so an attempt to rush to Colossus there probably wouldn't be the best of ideas. This is a great position forward as well. Shakuras is often exploited in the close air for drops of any sort. In the meantime, however, Ryung's actually going to roll out. This could potentially be very dangerous for Ryung, moving the majority of his forces out of base. A Warp Prism could come in unexpectedly. There's a single SCV going in there, perhaps to try and place a bunker. I would think that that would be denied. Sase does not actually have a lot of units at this natural right here.
But he does have force fields to hold this off. You only need 2 force fields to wall this off. This is why this map is so defensive, and as you can see, Ryung is pulling back now. He has no idea about this Warp Prism though, and this is going to be a bit of a surprise. And in come the force fields. He needs to try to keep these SCVs in there.
Yeah, he's
so smart.
Sase misses there, and Ryung just pulls it off just before that, knowing the possibility of force fields to place it down. That would trap the SCVs in there with the Zealots, which would be an absolute disaster for Ryung's economy. However, that is really nicely defended there by Ryung. He's having none of that.
But look at these 2 force fields are denying a lot of that mining being forced to move around in places they don't really want to go. They just want to mine straight, of course. And we are going straight into Colossus now as well. We do have the Observer coming out to actually get the information. It's not really viable to scout with the Warp Prism.
Yep.
And in comes it once again, but we won't really be able to achieve that much as units are waiting for it. So great defense straight off the bat here. Double Observer has been created and is on its way out, and we should be seeing Colossus coming straight away here, especially with +1 going to be started very, very shortly from the Forge.
Yeah, and if we look at what Ryung has got in terms of preparation for that, he does have the starport with the reactor on there, so he can switch over to Vikings if need be. But his army count is reasonable at this point. Sase's is slightly larger. We'll see what happens there. I have to wonder if he's smelling the Colossus, though. Having already seen the Warp Prism, he has to assume that as a follow-up.
Well, he did scan not so long ago and see the robotics bay down anyway, so he knows that Colossus is imminent. The thing is, he's trying to push out now before Colossus hits. It's not going to work out so well. Maybe even just to control the Zell Nogatar, actually. But he does need to switch over. As we can see, 2 Vikings right now. He's got 1, 2, just a single medivac actually, building a second one. So only 2 medivacs are now going over into these Viking production. But he can't really do anything right now. The Colossus is already up, and Sase taking a 3rd base right now.
Yeah, he's got to be extremely cautious as well to engage with the Colossus, especially with Marine without combat shield. They tend to die very, very quickly indeed. Not well upgraded in that respect. Sase is able to secure the center without losing a single unit there. And that's kind of been the trademark of Sase through this tournament thus far. The incredibly efficient engagements and excellent control there, preventing that from happening. However, we do have a drop coming up to the top right here. Sase will need to pull back in order to deal with this. There really isn't a huge amount of point of being in the center at the moment.
Well, he did spot it though. There is an observer just on the natural, and it saw them lift up. So Sase is expecting this, and the Warp Prism is actually going to get the confirmation. It may actually die as they cross paths, but it doesn't matter. And Ryung should have seen that as well. He's not a player to make mistakes like that. So both players are going to go ahead and probably drop each other now. But look at that, Sase already in position.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to worry. I like the fact that Sase just used the exact number of units required. Unfortunately, it looks like the Warp Prism is going to get eliminated. The drop will shut that down. The Vikings going to kill it one way or the other.
Colossus.
Oh, that is an interesting move, and probably, is it the correct one? It certainly is not. A Colossus sniped off right there. That just, I think, tripped off the cliff accidentally.
Yeah, it was a very expensive trip because
No
Colossus
kidding.
at this stage of the game, basically these players are making almost minimal mistakes. That's kind of the biggest mistake we've seen from Sase in this game.
Yep.
Ryung has hardly made any either, so losing a Colossus like that can really change the tide of the game. As small as it may seem, playing in the lower leagues, something like that is humongous at this level. Sase now on 3 bases, needs to get into the assimilators though, otherwise there's not too much point being on that base at the moment, and we do have a drop into the main base as well of Sase.
Yeah, that should be easily cleaned up. Sase's not too concerned about that whatsoever. Just poking and prodding, but Ryung didn't really lose anything from that either, so he's not all that concerned. This is the big rollout that could be dangerous. If Sase does not really have the units to deal with this.
And that Colossus is in a bit of danger, actually, with these Vikings there. He does pull the sentries in the front to actually deal with it, but Ryung is going to be dropping the natural or the main, actually, at the same time here as pushing out. Putting multi-pressure here does drop, but Sase has the units around to deal with this.
Yeah, he should be able to clean that up without too much of a problem. He would love to snipe that medevac, but Ryung's control is just simply too good in that regard. A Stalker comes in to deny this expansion right here and try to put on just a little bit of pressure here and there, and an aggressive pylon also eliminated there by Slayer's Ryung. None of these players are looking particularly vulnerable in any respect. Drops are being denied, and of course the expansion being denied isn't really working out. Another drop to the back of the natural. It's going to take out a few probes, but once again it will be easily shut down before any major damage has been inflicted, and the focus fire is going down on the medevac, which then allows him to easily eliminate the remainder of the forces.
Yeah, really nice play for both these players. Cannot stress how gently they're playing this game right now.
Yeah.
Minimal mistakes, really tiptoeing around the map, looking to actually do damage, but the other player just simply blocking the action, and a single Stalker doing quite a bit of damage here, getting 2 kills on these SCVs, kind of equalizing that harassment on the natural of Sase with this Stalker, killing 2 SCVs each. And the upgrades are nice and well flowing for Sase right now. He's currently researching +3 attack and +2 armor. Zealot charge is already done. Blinket's on his way as well. The problem that we're running into, though, is we do have not that many medivacs, actually. So Sase, though, has a lot of Zealots, and I think Sase's army will be able to crush down onto Ryung's if possible. But look, 2 more Stalkers again harassing that third base of Ryung.
Could this be any more equal right now? Army supply is so very close. Worker supply also very close. 3 bases each. Now this is where things start to get a little bit messy. Sase wobbing in a large number of Zealots, which is a curious decision considering that there is a planetary fortress there. Usually that doesn't work out so well. I have to wonder what kind of pressure he'll be able to inflict there.
Really nice. That's like a submission, really, on that third base with these few units. Really forcing Ryung to actually do something. He can't move in the center of the map, otherwise he's going to lose a lot on the third. He has to go to the third, so he can't attack in the center position. Meanwhile, Sase pumped up the gateway count now. He's almost finished with +2 armor. +3 is not so far away right now either, but look at that unit count on that third base. Is getting increasingly large, and I think Sase is going to basically send all of his units towards this third base very, very shortly. He's only a single Colossus in here, and he's actually, he's hallucinating 2 more to take away the focus away from that single Colossus. That
is an incredibly smart move there, and having only 1 single Colossus at this stage would be very, very odd. Let's see what they fire on right there. They're actually firing on the wrong Colossus right now as Sase tries to get aggressive, looks to try and block it as many of those units as possible. The force field's not actually all that effective. They're funneling the Zealots into a nasty position against the cliff face. The Stalkers are able to annihilate all of the Vikings, but Sase not able to prosecute that engagement there. He needs to wait for reinforcements, and he's now getting surrounded by the forces of Slayer's Ryung. That said, not many medevacs. Look at how low health they are. Sase could potentially push in here, but he blinks out.
Without Zealots, that's what happens, and Ryung manages to actually hold on a little bit, though he has to be careful. The reinforcements are very nice. Great aggressive blink here from Sase.
Very, very nice, and I think Slayer's Ryung's perhaps overestimating just how much health those units had left. So few medevacs, and now the pressure can be applied to the natural snipes off yet another air unit, and Sase looking really strong in the center of the map at present. That's the army supply. That's not good for Slayer's Ryung. Pressure could be applied to the third here.
And this is so good from Sase. He's just submitting or putting so much pressure onto this third base, and he's had his own third base untouched the entire game long. Is on a 4th base as well. +3 attack has now finished for these units. The upgrades for Ryung are decent as well, but at 2-2. What Ryung really needs to do is get his units to this third base. He has to EMP. He cannot lose it.
It is down very, very nicely there by Sase. +3 with that much firepower. Even a planetary fortress will not last all that long. There goes an EMP, and it was a good solid one as well, forcing Sase all the way back. He doesn't want to engage before those shields recharge at the moment.
Oh, wow. Sase is just so good at this game right now. He is just practicing so hard, and I love to see it because this is basically the definition of hard work, and Sase has been put so much work into his game for a very long time now, and it's finally paying off at such an important level right now. SCV's going down as well. Sase doesn't really want to engage up here simply because his units get filtered through. The EMPs will do incredible amounts of damage. He just needs to get his 4th base up and start producing more units, and basically suffocating Ryung from taking a 3rd base, and he's doing it ever so well right now.
Yeah, he really is, and look at how oversaturated that mineral line is. Rapidly being mined out, starving his opponent. He can expand. He's already taken a 4th. He's got full map control in the center. He's even getting +1 shield upgrade lane, as well as ground armor. And really, what do you do in this situation if you happen to be Ryung? Usually, what is hallucinated Void Ray going in to have a look-see? Well, what I suppose you really have to do is just to start dropping and doing damage. But of course, as soon as you do that, the superior army side just crashes through your front door.
Yeah, basically what Ryung is waiting for right now is for 3-3 to finish, and I think he's actually going to send SCVs with this as well. Actually, not going to wait for 3-3 to finish. +3 attack is 15 seconds away. And actually, it looks like Sase is going to buy Ryung the time here.
How very polite.
How very polite of Sase to actually give him the time to get +3 attack. And +3 armor is still about 40 seconds away. EMPs have to be beautiful here if he wants to win this engagement. And hallucinated Phoenix as well.
I love it.
So, I mean, hallucinated Colossus is going to be tough.
And here we go. Will Sase have the firepower to deal with this? He did go in with the +3 armor, which is going to help out an awful lot. The EMPs have done some damage. A lot of the Stalkers losing their shields right now as Ryung crashes into the forts. Sase forced backwards right now. Ryung continued aggression. The ghosts to the back still have energy for EMP. Sase's force is looking pretty battered. So is Ryung's, but Ryung has the medevacs this time around, forcing Sase back. And Ryung wins that engagement, but a massive warp-in is coming in to reinforce and a charge right into those injured units as Sase goes in for a vicious counter-attack, smashing his opponent all the way across the field. And he's getting so aggressive. He needs to blink out of there right now. Very few units left for Ryung. Down to 5 Marines. Will the Stalkers be able to deal with this one and then drive him back? Mutually assured destruction there. More reinforcements coming in for both sides.
Sase's in trouble. Has to back out. There's more than enough units now, and Sase's making the classic mistake he does every single Terran versus Protoss, is he's not having any splash damage. A single Colossus isn't enough. He's basically fighting head on without any collateral damage here, unfortunately, and now he's given Ryung the time to get a third base up, and you cannot give a Korean player on the skill level of Ryung time to breathe. Despite Sase being on 4, maybe 5 bases soon if he mines from it, you know, he needs some splash damage via Storm, via more Colossus.
What about
there
those?
is the answer. That is going to be enough, because right now the Viking count is non-existent, only 1. The scan reveals it all, and that is what Sase needed and will probably need if he wants to continue to try and win this game.
And he's still in a good position, even after losing that army in the center. Big damage has been done to both. Sase has lost more resources overall, but has had a stronger economy to replenish that. It is not that big a deal. Viking count is starting to grow again, but it's certainly not large enough. The Blink snipes off one of those medevacs as well, splitting the force in half. And now, what does Ryung do? He's going to have to stim right in the Colossus. Sase needs to get those out of the way. Great force field placement to block off the fire on the Colossus. All 3 remain. GG! Ladies and gentlemen, Sase in a 2-0 sweep all the way through to the winner bracket finals.
Not bad, not bad.